May be sold for drugs?
I have good reason to believe.
$900 numbers entice children to call, and then parents have to foot the bill. Now Hollywood has even gotten to the act, such as take the Indiana Jones Challenge. It's advertised on television, begins on Friday. This morning, if children are targeted, what these numbers are about and how to kid-proof your phone. With us here in New York, Elissa Lutz, who is 10 years old, who repeatedly called a 900 number, running up a $35 phone bill, and Elissa's grandmother, Marie Sheffield, also joins us, who had to pay the bill, and they both join us this morning. You actually didn't pay the bill, did you, though?
That's right, I did not. After looking at these advertisements, it occurred to me that these people might be in violation of the laws of contract with minors.
Now, but you just saw this. Did it just appear on your bill? Does it say 900 on the bill?
No, what it says is premium, and that was what drew my attention to the bill. I thought, premium, what is premium? I have no idea what that means. So I started calling New Jersey Bell. They claim they know nothing about these premium bills. It's up to AT&T. I called AT&T. They claim it's not their responsibility. Well, after a lot of moving around, I decided to write to the chairman of AT&T and express my dissatisfaction.
Well, they didn't make you pay the bill, but actually, do you have creditors on you to pay?
No, but I understand that some people have been receiving letters from collection agencies where AT&T has dismissed the charges, and apparently the contractors of these 900 lines are turning the bills or the accounts over to these collection agencies in an attempt to recover their money.
Elissa, when you saw this on television, had you ever dialed a 900 number before?
No.
Did you know what it meant? I mean, 900, did you know that your mother or your grandmother or someone would have to be paying money for it?
Well, I actually never saw a phone bill before, so I really didn't know.
So you had no idea that it cost money. I'm going to dial a number.
I did, because it said $2 first minute, 45 cents each additional minute.
But you didn't know it was any different than any other telephone call, is what you're saying. Like how much it would call your friend down the street. Right, I'm going to dial a number, actually. This is not a 900 number. What it is it's going to be a 900 number by the end of the week. And this is the kind of scenario that you're going to hear where Hollywood is actually, well, Hollywood's gotten involved. It's called the Indiana Jones Challenge. And it sounds like Indiana Jones. You can tell.
Welcome to the Indiana Jones Instant Winner Phone Challenge. If you successfully complete any one of 6 adventures, you may be randomly selected as an instant winner of one of hundreds of prizes and be eligible to win $25,000 in gold and a 10-day adventure from Allied Tours. So when you complete the adventure, have a pen and paper ready. Every caller can receive an Indy Photo Certificate of Achievement.
You know what, Elissa?
You have 3 seconds.
I'm going to let you do the adventure for me.
Enter your area code and home telephone number.
Okay.
Enter now.
That part we don't have to do. We already have that part. But now we're going to have the challenge. Pretty soon they should ask us about which
to select
challenge.
an adventure, enter a number between 1 and 6 on your touch-tone phone. Enter now.
We had a lot of people check this. They heard 5 is good.
On a small island, you and your native friend Carew dig for the treasure of pirate Jean Lafitte.
Dr. Jones, we've hit a wooden platform with a silver handle on one end.
Etched in the wood near the silver handle is a 4-line inscription and a small hole.
It says, to safely raise the platform, we must divide the number of inscription lines by the same number and place that amount of pebbles in the hole.
What do you think of this?
To place 1 pebble in the hole, press 1.
No.
To place 4 pebbles in the hole,
just
press
like
2.
all the others.
Enter now.
Would you hang up or continue?
Hang up.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't like it?
No.
Why?
Because you couldn't hear the words very clearly. It's just like when, like the S's and stuff, it's blah, 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 all the, you can't understand it really.
So, have you pretty much gotten over all these? I mean, you don't really care to ever call these again?
Yeah.
Or do they still get you? Come on, Indiana Jones, the movie's a big hit this summer. Don't you want to hear it?
No.
You really don't?
No. Not anymore.
Well, there's apparently some legislation afoot. We're going to take a commercial and talk to the man who's proposing that right after this. Robert joins me now to continue this conversation, and we're going to go live now to Senator Howard Metzenbaum of Ohio in Cleveland. Oh, we just lost him. He plans to introduce some legislation on these 900 numbers aimed at children. And by the way, may I mention, we've invited representatives of this toll call industry to join us, but they've declined, as they have on previous occasions when contacted by Aaron Moriarty. So if we can, you came up with a...
I have a whole list of things that I would, if I had been you, here are some of the things that I would do. Can I just try some? Tell me what's wrong with them. First of all, I would say to the telephone company, if I got a bill that had something like premium, as you mentioned, I'd say, I'm not going to pay.
That's right. You wouldn't pay a credit card bill if it just had purchase on it, would you?
Now, do phone companies automatically say, okay, we forgive you this once?
If you complain about it.
They will.
That's right.
But you say that even when they forgive you, then the 900 number goes sometimes.
In this one particular instance that I know of, this gentleman received a notice from a collection agency for $450 that his daughter had run up in a game similar to what this Indiana Jones call is about.
But the phone company had excused him from the $450.
That's correct. He has a letter to prove it.
How about blocking? The companies make a lot of money on these 900 numbers. Why don't we just go to the company and say, you're making a lot of money with 900, so why don't you block phones for free? If a customer calls up, have you ever tried that?
I understand that it's a state-by-state legislation decides on what can be blocked and what cannot. All I know is I don't feel that the onus for this should fall on the consumer. I believe that these people, these 900-line contractors, should figure out a way to prevent children from being exploited.
Well, in fact, there's legislation now that is going to be introduced today. Senator Howard Metzenbaum is going to be doing that. He joins us live from Ohio. Now, Senator, I'm sorry for some of the technical difficulties. Good morning.
Good morning, Kathleen.
Tell me, you know, Congress has had a lot of trouble stopping the 900 calls, the sex calls, the party line calls, because it was always on First Amendment privileges they were always held up against, and that we can never get legislation to stop this. How do you approach this?
Let me explain that I really don't have a bill to put in today. We're actually not in session. What I have said at a hearing that we had in connection with some children's television legislation that I'm proposing, that if this matter couldn't be resolved by the telephone company itself, then I think that Congress would have to act, and I would be prepared to offer such legislation. I would hope that we wouldn't have to go that route. Now, it is a fact that a group called Action for Children's Television, called ACT, I believe today is filing a petition or complaint with the Federal Trade Commission, asking the Federal Trade Commission to move in on this very situation.
What do you think the Federal Trade Commission can do, Senator?
The Federal Trade Commission does have some rights with respect to monitoring advertising, and probably is in a position to go against the advertisers themselves, those who are promoting the calling, having of children call in on the 900 number in order to put a halt to that. But the fact is that I think the telephone company is in a position to do something about it. I don't want to just pass a law. I would like to try to work it out with them, and I expect to be in touch with AT&T to see whether or not we can't work this out in a cooperative manner rather than proposing a specific law to deal with it.
Well, Marie, you're worried about this for another reason. You said that it kind of encourages children to gamble.
That's right. I believe these lines are offering children the opportunity to participate in a game of chance when they entice the children by saying they're participating in a game of skill, and I don't believe that that's the case. And if indeed they are offering the children the opportunity to participate in a game of chance, then to me, in my opinion, they're violating the RICO.
And you saw that Elissa had real trouble even understanding what that game was. I went to law school, and I followed the treasure of Ra to some boat or whatever it was, and the man on the telephone said, dial 1 if it's to the left, dial 2 if it's to the right. The right is the right way. So I dialed 2, and I go, sorry. Now I'm thinking, you know, you and I, we have a problem together with these phone calls. I think they were, but in any case, can I ask Senator Metzenbaum a question? Senator, in the ACT petition, they talk about perhaps telling the phone companies that during the first 18 seconds of the call, the speaker should get right on the phone and say, whoever is talking to us, this call is costing you $2.50. If you hang up now in the next 18 seconds, no charge. How do you feel about that proposal? I'm making it more particular.
Grandchildren, the oldest of which is 6. And I think they're reasonably intelligent children. But my opinion is that children would not be in a position to comprehend the significance of that. And I just don't think that's an adequate answer.
All right. How about notes on the telephone bill that instead of saying the code word premium, say, this was a call for a children's service, so that people who pay those bills know what happened? How do you think about that?
Those people who will be paying the bill are going to be much comforted by having that explanation on the telephone bill. I just believe this, that this idea of having children call Freddie Pumpkin or calling Indiana Jones or calling Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny and making a charge for that, I think that's just raw. I think it's a rip-off. I think it's an impropriety, and I think we have to put a stop to it. I hope that we can get it done voluntarily by the telephone companies. Secondly, if the FTC may have to take action with respect to it, and if it not, then I guess I would just have to go with a piece of legislation.
Senator Howard Metzenbaum, Maria, Elissa, thanks for joining us.